hello. Hey guys, my name is Joe, and I'm here to play my first song that I did learn to sing on guitar from this guy, Kamau Karongo. I'm gonna talk about how we met and how he became of impact in my life journey, my career, and my faith. So keep tuned, keep subscribing, and keep sharing. Thank you. Oh, aka akaya, aka Jehovah nemema, olu ebubea, kenaru ari nebeno, isi ikendu, kena degi atata, aka akaya, aka Jehovah nemema, aka akaya. Aka Jehovah nemema olu ebubea kena ruari nebeno isi ikendu kena degi atata aka akaya aka Jehovah nemema. And the Greek people yoko kwangai nigwe kagamagegania nagoriri wake negwo thiororokeirie githima kia muoyo kiria gitahuaga guoko kwa Ngai nigwikaga magegania aka akaya aka Jehovah nemema olu ebubea kena ruari nebeno isi ikendu kena degi atata aka akaya aka Jehovah nemema. Yes, that's the first song that I learned from Kamau Karongo, and it was in 2015 when we met. We were with my uncle, Mr. Njenga, like I mentioned in the first video. We were at her daughter's. She was a candidate in Meriliki Girls, where they were holding prayers for the candidates that year. And I saw Kamau play the song on the guitar, and I was so moved. And I said, you know what? When he finishes, I'm gonna approach him. He's gonna be my mentor. Because I was just learning how to play the guitar. I never had the confidence to stand before the people and sing or talk. And I saw somebody who is good at that. And I had to approach him with all the courage. Yes, he will come in this channel and talk about that approach. I'm sure he described it quite well, better than I. So from that day we linked up, and he became a very crucial person. Not just in my skills in music or singing, but he became a very crucial person later on in my career. Because I'm talking about how I went to America. And you can wonder, why have I started with mentioning Kamau Karongo and playing my first song on the guitar? It's because we connected with Kamau through music. And Kamau is an MC. He's a very good MC in weddings, in events. And he also does things to do with the sound system and entertainment and things to do with music. So we've linked up for music. And Kamau was meeting one of these friends of his who is a client from the US called James Monanao. And here is Joe calling. This is 2016 now in April. I'm calling him, hey Kamau, like my usual time, we could link up any other time I feel I want to link up with him. Hey Kamau, where are you? I want to come wherever you are. He tells me, sawa, okay, kuja. And I meet Kamau, who is going to meet his client, James, who was from the US back then. And he came home to meet his parents. So we link up with James, who happens to be a wedding planner in the US. And I'm calling Kamau to just go in our normal walks or normal talks. And he's going to meet his client, James, who does wedding planning in the US. And Kamau introduces me to James and say, hey, James, by the way, this is the guy who does events in school. I'm a second year, by the way, at the Technical University of Kenya doing event planning. And Kamau introduces me to James, who does event planning in the US, mostly in weddings. So James is very happy to meet me, and we take a photo. You will see it right there, and that's all. Nothing much for that day. It was in April 2016. And now, August in 2016, James' wedding is having a wedding. And James is not feeling well. He remembers a guy who was introduced to him in April by Kamau Karongo. And he needed help in wedding planning. And guess what? That's how my first job in event planning came. And James calls me, gives me all the instructions, hands me over to the client, who happens to be his cousin. And yeah, that's how we linked up for my first job in event planning, which was a wedding. And we did an awesome job. And that event, the MC was Jeff Courier, works at Inoro. You have Jeff Courier TV on YouTube. Jeff Courier was the MC, and we linked up with Jeff Courier, who also is so experienced in events. And because of the wonderful job that we did that August, James could not hesitate to link me up for another wedding, this time round with a neighbor in church back in US. And now I had another job for December, for August, now in December, in event planning still. And that's how my career took a different turn. Remember, I've just had one event, one wedding, and I've had the best of the best, having a good budget, and we did an awesome job. But I was still very young. In 2016, I was 16 plus, how many? 16 plus 6, cameraman, 16 plus 6. 16 plus 6 is 22, yes. Yeah, I was still 22, and I did a great job with the connection further. So in December, we did that wedding with the House of Doty, Alfred and Dorothy, House of Doty. You guys were awesome. We did work with them, and they became so crucial in sharpening my skills in the industry of wedding planning in events. So after 2016 December, I remember this call from James. You know, he's just happy and he's calling me and say, "Hey boy, you need to come to the US. You are doing great." He just sent me an idea. He just gave me an idea. You need to come to the US. I never had that idea in my mind. And he told me, you need to come to the US. And I kept thinking, how? And he told me, we can look for something in the internet. I was still, how? And remember, back in August, I had met Jeff Courier through that wedding. And Jeff Courier, we had started moving along with him in events still. And he had an office at Westland, and he could send me there over the office and try to run his errands in the office, in events, book his clients, in MCing. Yeah, and attend events with him and take some notes. Yeah, I was still learning with Jeff Courier. So while I was seated in the office, now we are in the new year, in 2017, I was seated in his office, and James had just given me this idea of trying to look for an opportunity in the internet. And while seated at that office, I Googled internship opportunities in the US. James had mentioned to me that there is a visa called J1 visa. If you read about it and do some homework about it, you might see an opportunity. And that's what I did while in Jeff Courier's office. I remember Googling all night, all day. When at home at night, I'm still Googling. When in the office, I'm still Googling. Until I came across this opportunity for a 12-month internship at the Country Club of Darien. And I just sent my CV with the email that was there. Ali in CCD, thank you very much. She replied the email that same day. Because of the time difference, I think I applied while they were asleep. And when they woke up, Ali saw my email that day and she replied. I was like, thank you, God, because they just offered me a chance to interview on Skype. I never knew about Skype. I actually never had a laptop. So I had to learn also about Skyping and laptop because I had an interview coming in a week's time. Hey, pressure nayo. And I remember I still went to my uncle's place, Mr. Njenga. That's where I took the interview. I set up my laptop. I set up myself. I had learned about how to do a Skype interview. You come straight to the camera, you focus, you be serious with the camera. And I tried to smile over the camera. Yes. And John Cutler, he was my interviewer for that time, came over. He said, "My name is John Cutler," and the accent was, wow. I couldn't hear anything. The accent was passing me like, because the American accent is not easy, guys. Yeah. And we did a 25-minute interview with John Cutler. Hey, Mr. John, ulinipeleka. You took me on a pace. That's what I mean. I'm bringing some Swahili. Ulinipeleka mbio sana. And it was so successful. And I remember coming from that interview, I just jumped with the fist in the air because I had just passed the interview. So where did I start from next? Wow, that was a great chance. It was in January. I remember very well, date 18 in 2017. I've just passed my interview to go to the US in May. The journey started there. And God was faithful. And that's how I started my successful career in event planning since that day. So thank you very much. Keep following. When I sing this song that God, you're so good to me, it's because of the great things that God has done for me. Yes, and I just love praising him because of he has been so good. God, you're so good to me. You've always been so good to me. I sing it through eternity. God, you're so good. God, you're so good to me. You've always been so good to me. Oh, I sing it through eternity. God, you're so good. I'm gonna sing your praise all night long and every day. I'll stand and worship you my whole life through. God, you're so good to me. You've always been so good to me. Oh, I sing it through eternity. God, you're so good. God, you're so good to me. You've always been so good to me. Oh, I sing it through eternity. God, you're so good. I'm gonna sing your praise all along and every day. Yeah. I'll stand and worship you my whole life through. God, you're so good to me. You've always been so good to me. Oh, I sing it through eternity. God, you're so good. I'm gonna sing your praise all along and every day. Yeah. I'll stand and worship you my whole life through. God, you're so good. Yes, God has been so good. Share, like, and subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll come back next time with more content on the experiences in the US across all the feeds, by the way, in my career, in event planning, what is different, and in ministry, in serving God. Asanteni sana, and thank you very much. Keep subscribing. Thank you.